Hello, Serge here from the back porch. Have a question, or at least in this case it's more like a comment, and it comes from D. Stansberry. And he says, I have bulky shoulder and arm muscles. I find that I have to really concentrate on relaxing them and staying loose but in control to get to a T finish. I guess it's like having a parking brake dragging when I don't. All right, that brings up a couple really good thoughts here. And one of them is that every golfer needs to find for themselves what are correctly activated, engaged, athletically ready muscles throughout your body. And I think the most important ones to start with is your grip pressure, your grip, what's your grip pressure, and up into your forearms and upper arms to your shoulders and upper body, and it goes all the way down to your feet, right to your toes. So your whole body has to be athletically ready, engaged, and energized. The key is you have to figure out for yourself what is too much or too little. Too much tension or tightness, or even the term engaged, to too little. All right? And in many cases when I'm working with a student, I can look at them and I can say, I definitely think this and this and this. I see that your grip doesn't look good enough, and how can I check that? In most cases, I just tell them, take your grip, lift your hands up here, and I grab the club, and if I can twist it in their hand or slide it right out, that's not actively engaged. So if the grip's not engaged, that means the forearms, the arms, and the shoulders, and your chest and back muscles aren't engaged. Sometimes I can see people when they're swinging a golf club, and I can see these legs kind of very wobbly and noodly, and yet they might have fairly rich arms, but the legs are wobbly and noodly. Or vice versa, the legs are firm, but the hands don't have any energy to them and control to them in the arms, then I can see that. So the thing is that we have to, I can tell them, but I can't feel them. So I'd say, how do you figure this out? Well, you have to start with some degree of muscle tone and engagement of your muscles and start swinging and maybe start at one end of the spectrum very loose and then start hitting balls and every successive hit firm up a little bit more, and I think at some point if you started really loosening, you'll be hitting very poor shots, and as you start to firm up a little bit, whether it be just your hands and arms, or I prefer to kind of do the whole body, because the whole body is engaged in swinging a golf club from the tips of your toes all the way up to your head and then down to your fingertips. That I like to recommend you do it all, but the key is that as you start getting more engaged and athletically ready, as well as making sure that you're going to see that you have more control of the club and to be able to swing the club and accelerate it through impact and make a more controlled overall dynamically balanced swing and get to your finish, that you can start sensing those, but you got to pay attention to it. Maybe make yourself a scale of 1 to 10, and 1 is that noodly and 10 would be so tight you could barely move, and see about what number do you feel like you finally get to a point where you're hitting good shots. And then once you hit those good shots, hit 2, 3, or 4 of them, and really feel that, and then tighten up a little bit more. And I think what you're going to see then happening is what? You're going to start going bad again. Only this time, I think once you start tightening up, you'll probably see that you'll have a greater tendency to probably start topping or thinning the shots. And then ultimately you're going to see that you'll probably start having to, feeling like you reverse weight shifting a little bit, because you get so tight, your arms can't move, so now your body's going to try to start helping it, and your body will start getting actively engaged in making it to try to swing the arms faster. But unfortunately, it's either going to be moving forward too much or back or whatever, but you're going to see that your body is no longer making a smooth, controlled, dynamically balanced swing. And so then at that point, you know it needs to back down a little, back to that one you were just swinging a few minutes earlier with and hitting those good shots. So find that number and get back to it. And so it's really about knowing your body. It's knowing what your muscle tone is. As I said again, from the tips of your toes to your head, right down to your fingertips, to know exactly what, boom, when you set it, you're athletically ready, your muscles are engaged, and you can make good controlled swings with good power and in dynamic balance. So that's something that I can see it, maybe your friends can see it in you, but nobody can feel it but you. So if you haven't awakened your mind yet to knowing exactly what your muscle tone is, to be actively engaged with all your muscles to make a good swing, athletically ready swing in dynamic balance, start doing this little test from too soft to too tight, and then find out where your good point is right there in the middle, and then lock that in, and maybe you can lock it in with a number on a shall we say, a muscle engagement meter, and that should help you, because you can't swing the club if you're not ready. So let's get athletically ready and swing in that dynamically balanced swing, and you'll start hitting the ball much more solid straight, longer, and shooting those lower scores. Well, that's it for the search for today, and I'll be talking to you all again soon.